Hey, this is Sebastian from Baroness, and you're listening to Sonic Perspectives.
And welcome to another interview for Sonic Perspectives. I'm talking today to the drummer of one of the most intriguing bands in the alternative music scene these days, Mr. Sebastian Thomson of Baroness.
Hey Rodrigo, how you doing?
Good, man, good. It's great to have you here with us today.
Right on.
Yeah. First of all, congratulations on the new Baroness album, Gold and Grey. And as a fan, I should say thank you for it. This one instantly turned out to be my favorite Baroness album.
Amazing. That's great to hear, man. Because when we made it, we thought, hey, this might be a little bit strange for old school Baroness fans, but I think people are into it, so that's always good to hear.
Yeah, well, it's very melodic, a lot more so than the previous ones. I think, at least in my perspective,
that's
anyway.
True.
Yeah,
that's true.
Let me start by asking you. I've seen the band being referred to as a metal band in a bunch of places, a bunch of websites. Are you okay with? Are you okay with being labeled metal? Because in my opinion, that's a huge simplification.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's more complicated than that. I think that Baroness is an ex-metal band, not even post-metal, because post-metal is an actual genre.
Yeah,
we just used to be a metal band, and I mean, this is maybe from a drummer's perspective, but if you're not playing double kick drum, is it really metal?
Right on. I agree.
That's one way to put it. I mean, we are a rock band that definitely takes elements from metal, but I wouldn't say we're a metal band, no.
Yeah, well, that's not to say, of course, that you don't have your metal moments. One, the new song Seasons, for example, the drumming is pure metal, blast beats and everything, right?
Yeah, there's some blast beats going on for sure, yeah.
Yeah.
But it's still, I mean, the intro drumming for the first verse sounds kind of more like a Stewart Copeland kind of thing, honestly.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of all over the place.
Yeah. One of my favorite ones in this release is I'm Already Gone, which has a very cool beat. What came first on that song, the melodies, the lyrics, or that beat?
That actually, what came first was a guitar part that Nick had written, which got really totally reworked almost to a point of being a new guitar part. But that song kind of went in circles.
Okay.
And, yeah, I mean, that beat, I came up with it sort of independently. I actually came up with it because it was kind of difficult for me. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I want to play something that's a little more linear or abstract, and so that's why I came up with it, and then I made a little recording at home in my home studio, and I sent a file to everybody, and then we just slid it in there, and then of course we recorded everything in the studio, but
right.
But yeah, that one was put together piece by piece.
Okay. And on a side note, you joined the band for the Yellow and Green tour back in 2013. Were you a fan before you joined, and what drove you to audition for the band, to choose this band?
Yeah, I was a fan because my brother saw them playing opening for Meshuggah, and we were old school Meshuggah fans. And
okay.
You need to check out this band, and. But I didn't. I was a fan, but I wasn't really. I mean, I knew about the accident, but I wasn't like sort of keeping up with the day-to-day events. And then what happened was that a mutual friend of ours put John Baisley and myself in touch, and then we started talking and started learning songs and rehearsing and whatever. And it wasn't ever really like an official audition. But
okay.
I guess it was, but it never. I mean, it was always very friendly and casual.
I see.
In the beginning.
Yeah, and you just mentioned the accident that happened. It left an indelible mark on this band. Is this still talked about by John, the crew, and others around the band, or not really?
Not much. I mean, I think that John. I mean, at this point on the bus, I think John's the only one that was on the bus during that crash. Now, I think everybody, Pete left. He wanted to work on his business, mm-hmm. and Alan and Matt were kind of a little bit more messed up physically. I mean, Alan's back kind of hurts. He can really tour and play drums anymore.
Right.
And the crew. I mean, that was a European crew. we're in America now, so
Oh, okay.
yeah. So it's really, I think Johnson's he's the last one here. He doesn't really talk about it much, honestly.
I see. And one thing that always caught my attention is how many fans are drawn to the riffs or to John's voice, but for me it's always about the groove. Songs like Chlorine and Wine, for example. Yeah, Little Things.
What I want to hear. That's my man.
Yeah. Man, I'm always attracted to the groove in those songs. I don't know why, but it's what stands out to me. Yeah. And what were...
You know what's funny? I'll tell you a funny story. We played live on this tour. Everybody's always screaming like, Gina and John, we love you. And then like every 10th scream will be rhythm section.
That's
I think it's totally a hilarious thing to
yeah,
at.
Of course. Yeah. What were some of your influences as a drummer? You mentioned Stewart Copeland right before, but
Stewart Copeland is huge influence on me. I mean, it's a little bit. I don't really play like him. Mm-hmm. He's a very what's the word I'm looking for? He's a unique player. You know, it sounds simple. Then you try playing along to it, and you're like, what the hell is he doing? He's not even playing the kick drum on the one half the time.
Yeah, and
he's playing it somewhere else, you know.
And he raises his hand too. He raises his arm way too high when he's beating those drums, right?
Yeah. He hits so hard. That's one thing that people forget when they try to learn his parts. He's totally wailing on those drums.
Yeah.
But what I love about him, I mean, I love a lot of specific technical things about him. I love the fact that normally a rock drummer will improvise between the kick and the snare. Mm-hmm. But he improvises between the kick and the ride, you know, and the snare just stays as a backbeat.
Right.
Very cool.
Yeah.
But just more in general, what I appreciate about him is that he's so particular sounding, and he really thinks about what he's playing and why he's playing it, and he's instantly recognizable. And it's the same thing goes for John Bonham. You know, it's like not only was he a great drummer, but he wrote great drum parts, and that's what I really appreciate. You know.
Yeah.
For example, Ian Pace from Deep Purple is technically a better drummer than John Bonham, but he just didn't write as cool parts. They're just not the composition side of it just isn't as good, you know.
Yeah, I agree. And going back to Golden Grey, the album is very long, and yet it wasn't split in two like Yellow and Green. Was there a particular reason for that, or?
Well, because it's not really a double album, you know, and I think since vinyl has stopped being the main medium for music, we've kind of sort of music in general. We've gone away from the idea that music has to be sold in units of 45 minutes. Mm-hmm. Because that's what it was. It was either 42 minutes or 90 minutes. Those are your two choices, right?
Yeah.
And then when CDs and then files and whatever, and then now that vinyl is back, but vinyl is back as really as like a specialist thing. Mm-hmm. So a lot of the people that buy vinyl are collectors. So for them, it's cool to have a side of vinyl that's just artwork. It's just like a cool, neat thing to have in your collection.
Absolutely,
so It really frees up bands to just do whatever the hell we want now. So, you know, Purple was a really concise, cool, short rock album. Yellow and Green was a double album. So we said, hey, let's do something. Let's just include the weird stuff we want to include, but maybe not as long as a double album.
I see. Yeah. And the use of those vignettes or interludes or whatever you call it is not something new to you, but this time around you took it to a different level. How is this approached? Yeah. It seems like for every long track, there's a shorter one, the shorter counterpart, so to speak.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, one of my favorite things about what we did with the segue pieces is that they're actually kind of longer than a segue should be.
Yeah.
Which I really like, because I think there's a weird sort of attitude that people have when a segue track is maybe a minute long, that you don't really take it that seriously, right?
Yeah.
But once it passes maybe 2 minutes, suddenly it's like, oh, this actually exists on its own.
Yeah.
It has a purpose on its own, and I think it's cool, and I think it's also there's a little bit also of a sort of like messing with the audience, where like you imagine, oh, this is, like you said, this is a little vignette, but then it goes on for another 2 minutes.
Yeah. Aside from I'm Already Gone in Seasons, which we mentioned before, I love the hi-hat work on Tourniquet, and the other cool thing is that there's almost a fake ending in this song, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that effect.
Tourniquet has like, basically, that one started with a beat that I wrote where the bass drum happens every 5th, 16th note.
Okay.
Right?
Right.
And that's why those accents come in a weird spot. Now, if you take those accents and you fade out the snare and the hi-hat, you have another completely different BPM. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's like a polyrhythm. So that's why the ending of that song is we're doing all those hits that happen in the song. They're already there. We just fade out the backbeat and suddenly becomes a completely different tempo.
Oh, okay. That's a cool effect.
In your mind. The tempo actually has never changed. Tempo is...
Oh, I see.
In your mind, it sounds like a different tempo.
Okay, very cool. Speaking of that one, Tourniquet is probably the best example of how great the vocal harmonies between John and Gina are on this album. I can't imagine the surprise in your ears when you discovered how well these two voices work together.
Yeah, they sound beautiful together, and what I think is especially cool is that it's not the traditional, roles where John has the lower voice and Gina always sings the higher voice. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they don't do that. Sometimes they switch it, and it really makes it really unique sounding and really kind of like some, honestly, sometimes it sounds like some weird mystical cult or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think it's very cool. It's very sort of like surreal. I like it.
On Anchor's Lament, I felt that. I felt like is this a cult or some sort of spooky kind of thing? Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And even the way the album opens with that little vocal thing for Front Towards Enemy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Also, I'm way into that stuff.
Yeah. And I'll touch on a sensitive topic now, if I may. There are many moments on the album where a lot of distortion is used, or compression.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It's not really new to Baroness, of course, but on Golden Grades, you took it to extremes. Don't you think it takes away the enjoyment of certain songs here and there, or?
Well, I mean, I think it was, a choice that John and Dave Friedman really love it. Mm-hmm. I think it's cool in it works when you listen to the album as a whole. I think sometimes when you first listen to one of the tracks by itself, it can be a little bit sort of confusing.
Yeah.
But the thing is, we really didn't want it to sound like just like a really slick, metal sounding sort of album. And I think that's what a lot of Baroness fans, the other music that they listen to are, bands that have very clear, precise production.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so I think it's a little bit jarring for them.
Yeah.
But I think it's, I think people have sort of calmed down about complaining about it. I think people are understanding that it was an intentional decision.
Yeah.
It was not a mastering mistake. It was a artistic, creative decision in the studio.
Yeah, it's definitely a statement, man. And one of my friends, he commented, for example, throw me an anchor. You're going to town on the outro, almost like Neil Peart on Tom Sawyer kind of thing. But it's so distorted that we miss the details, like the hi hats and everything that you do.
I know. It's like, yes, I know. I wish. I mean, as a drummer, of course, I wish that was a little more clear.
Yeah.
But the point is that it's it's not really meant to just be a documentation of a performance. Mm-hmm. It's meant to be a whole artistic piece, and it's not always about clarity.
I see. And on the last song, Pale Sun, I don't know, I felt a bit of a Police vibe. Maybe I'm hearing things, I don't know.
Really?
Yeah.
Interesting. That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay.
It sounds like one of those instrumentals that could be on the early Police albums, Zenyatta or those before. Yeah.
Yeah, the albums always end with some weird instrumental song.
Yeah. And I guess 99% of the lyrics come from John. Do you feel there will be room for you to contribute with lyrics if you wanted to, or if you brought something to the table, or not really?
Honestly, I think the band I played in before was called Trans Am, mm-hmm. and I did write some lyrics for that. But I think that when you have somebody in the band who's already so dedicated to that, and so into it, and so good at it, that it frees me up to just worry about drums, which is kind of nice.
I see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So because like in Trans Am, sometimes the other guys, wouldn't write lyrics for something, and then I would, Mm-hmm. But that's not the case here. That's not the case. John will always write lyrics.
I see.
So it is liberating for me.
I see. And I know of bands where the writers have to bring a song almost fully done or the idea almost fully completed, or else it's not used. Is that the case with Baroness? I mean, how do you guys work? Do you throw ideas out of each other? Or?
No, people definitely people bring in the demos we bring in are usually just our own instruments most of the time.
Okay.
And we leave everything up to everybody else. I mean, so as a lot of the full band stuff will start with me sending drum loops that I record at home to John, and then he'll pick the ones he likes. And like, for example, like in each idea, I'll give him like 4 variations of the groove and like 2 fills.
Okay.
And it's all to a click track, and he can sort of build up the track how he wants. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Of
and
course.
Then he can start writing to it, but then Nick will send us either guitar or bass or synth parts, and Gina does the same. There's very rarely is it a complete song. I'm trying to think if that happened at all.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Pretty much once or twice things start from a jam where we're all jamming together. Like Pale Sun started like that. That's
okay.
Definitely the product of a jam. But usually we usually need like some sort of kernel of an idea,
mm-hmm.
some seed to start from, and then we go from there.
Okay, I see. And from the fans' reaction and the buzz this album generated, I feel like you've never been bigger than now. Do you feel that way? Is that one of your goals as a band, to grow more and more, or do you want to stay in the alternative circle?
We definitely want to grow as long as you can still make the music you want to make and grow. Why not? I mean, the only time growth is a bad thing is if you're making sacrifices, artistic sacrifices.
Yeah.
Which we're not. In fact, I think we're making even weirder music now.
Yeah.
so
Absolutely.
That's a win-win for me. But I think, the last tour we did was a co-headline with Death Heaven, which was a super fun, amazing tour.
Yeah.
And that tour we hit like the big cities in the U.S. and Canada. Mm-hmm. And on this tour, we're doing the cities that we didn't hit on the last tour. So, like, for example, we're in Omaha tonight, which is not as big as other cities in America. So it's hard to gauge if we're quote bigger.
I see.
The cities are smaller, but every night's been super fun, super awesome, and packed rooms. So it's been great.
I see. And you got nominated for a Grammy for the song "Shock Me." We were just talking about popularity and fame. Did you guys attend the ceremony, and what was that like for you guys?
We definitely did attend the ceremony, and we never ever. First, we never thought we'd be nominated. I never even daydreamed about that as a kid. I never thought about that ever.
Right.
And then we never thought we would win. Right? So we were like, okay, this is going to be fun. We're going to buy some nice suits, and we're going to go to LA. We're going to party for a weekend and see some friends and have like a really weird experience.
Right.
So that was the attitude we had. And then we went to the ceremony, which is the metal section is during the day. It's like the matinee.
Okay.
And it's in this big auditorium, and there's all these awards happening, and there's like a house band and this and that. And as we start getting closer and closer to our category, we turned to ourselves and we're like, wait a minute, guys, what if we do win? Like we've never talked about it. We never actually said, well, what do we do if we win? Like, so then we have a speech, like what? We never mentioned it.
I see.
So suddenly it's like getting closer. We're like, fuck, like what if we win? This is, oh my God. And then like, as it gets closer and closer, something like, guys, we might win. You get this sort of like weird mania. And then when they announced Megadeth, I was like, fuck.
Oh, man.
And the funny thing is, like, literally 20 minutes before, I had no hope or even desire of winning. I didn't care at all.
I see.
But suddenly, when they announced Megadeth, I was like, God damn it. And then, so Korn was also a nominee, and they immediately got up and walked out of the auditorium when Megadeth won.
Jesus.
Which I thought was hilarious. And then the other awesome thing was that when Megadeth, as they were walking to the stage to collect their award, the house band played Master of Puppets.
Oh, yeah, I remember that. Oh, Jesus, man.
We still don't know if that was an accident or if that was intentional.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh, my God. I remember the occasion. I completely forgot it was that year.
Yeah. They started playing Master of Puppets, and we looked at each other, we're like, oh, fucking God. What? Are these kinds of feeling.
Yeah. Going back to Golden Grey, you did videos for all songs on the album, and the whole thing is on YouTube now. Is this a profitable way to release music these days? I mean, with the YouTube views and whatnot, or not really?
The videos we did are not all of them are like videos.
Yeah, just a song and a background. Yeah.
Just some images, you know. We did that so that people can actually hear the actual version. Mm-hmm. You're not somebody who downloads a file and then like converts and then uploads it, and it gets all sounds crazy and weird and whatever. So yeah. So people, I definitely when people are, hey, check out this band, the first thing I do is I go to YouTube. I think that's pretty normal nowadays.
Yeah.
And we do eventually want to make actual videos. I think we've done maybe 3 now.
Yeah. I think 3.
But I think we want to do some more. And another cool thing that we're doing is that we are multi-track recording a lot of the shows, and we are filming a lot of the shows with multiple camera angles. So then we can, when we get home, we can edit some of that and upload some of the live stuff. Because people always upload iPhone footage, which is great.
Yeah.
Because we can see how we played that. But it's an iPhone, right? So it never sounds or looks like it.
Yeah, quality-wise, it's not great. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So this is like a fun thing to do, and it's a chance for people that don't make it to the shows and don't know us, a chance for them to see what it's like live.
Yeah. Well, you're not coming to Toronto this time, where I'm located, so I'll take advantage of those videos. That's okay.
Well, we haven't really. I mean, the Death Heaven tour was before the album came out.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
So we will definitely do another quote major markets tour next year for Golden Grey.
I see.
We'll definitely be up there.
Yeah. I was going to ask you because you're doing a few dates in the US, like you just said, then Europe until mid-November. So that's the plan for 2020 then.
That is the plan for 2020.
Okay, very cool. And, are you able to pick a favorite song from Golden Grey already, or not really?
I don't have a favorite, but one that we haven't played yet on stage is Front Towards Enemy, so that is a cool one to listen to.
Oh, very cool. I was asking because we are reaching the end and we want to close the interview with a Baroness song picked by you. So thank you so much, man.
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do Front Towards Enemy. For sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your time, Sebastian, and I wish you a great tour ahead. All right?
My pleasure. Thank you so much.
For our listeners out there, thank you so much for listening to this interview, and please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. We're gonna finish now with the song Front Towards Enemy from Golden Grey, the latest Baroness album. Take care and stay metal.